I could back up my words and shoot with the best of them at that time.
In 1954, President Eisenhower and the nation honored Irving Berlin, composer of God Bless America.
God Bless America isn't just a song that I wrote, but it expresses my gratitude for the opportunities and the freedom to write that song and to the country that inspired it. Thank you very much.
The age-old city of Oxford, England. Here in 1954, at the Iffley Road track, a young medical student named Roger Bannister made history. Cool, wet, and windy weather promised slow times in the mile run. For 9 years, the mile mark had stood at 4 minutes, 1 4/10 seconds. Man seemed to have reached his limit, and there was little reason to think the record would fall on this day. But Roger Bannister ignored the chill crosswind and the limits of human endurance. He put on a tremendous burst of speed over the final quarter mile, and that closing kick made him the first human to hurtle through the 4-minute mile barrier. Bannister's time was 3:59.4. Many have done it since, as many have reached the moon, but Roger Bannister was the first.
I give you the toast of Roger Bannister, the man whose record can never be beaten, the first man to run a 4-minute mile.
The unassuming Bannister became a living legend.
Any of you forget in this room that you are in the presence of an immortal.
Roger Bannister, the young medical student, went on to become one of Britain's most prominent physicians. He would never forget those glorious days on the track.
I don't know what inspires young men to do these things. It's simply the knowledge that there is a certain ability which should be allowed its full expression. For some people, taking a few steps on a running track a sheer agony. For me, running had always been a kind of joy.
The joy of holding the mile record was short-lived for Bannister. Australian John Landy broke Roger's record just a few weeks after he set it. And then, the two greatest milers in the world faced off at the British Empire Games on August 7th. It was John Landy who established an early lead. Bannister had said his previous accomplishments meant nothing if he could not defeat Landy. Bannister steadily gained ground on the Australian. And then, in a classic moment, Landy would look for Bannister on the inside, while Roger flew by on the outside, winning in 3:58.8 and enjoying still another magic moment.
The feeling of movement, the sense of power, the excitement of racing, these were all things which to me were a very great excitement and pleasure. So to me, there was no question in my mind as to what kept me going. It was really the worry about what I would feel like when I had to stop it all.
At the 1954 Kentucky Derby, a little horse named Determined worked his way through the pack to challenge the pace setter, Hasty Road. As they came out of the home turn, Ray York had Determined 2C up in second. The Little Gray buzzed by Hasty Road and into the lead. Determined is finally in the clear. The smallest horse in the race captured the 80th running of the Kentucky Derby. The 1954 Indy 500. The 33 drivers were already record setters. Their average qualifying time of 141 miles per hour was Indy's best yet. After 200 grueling laps, the great Bill Vukovich crossed the line in front to become only the third driver to win Indy 2 years in a row. Double congratulations for Bill. In 1954, the champ, Rocky Marciano, took on Jerry Lewis for charity. Dean Martin refereed the shortest fight in history.
Now go to your corners, and when the bell rings, if you're smart, you won't come out. All right, shake hands and come out fight.
1954, former heavyweight champ Ezra Charles got ready for his second shot at Rocky Marciano's title. Charles lost a close decision the first time. Marciano's rock-hard hands get some tender, loving care. Rocky's fists had KO'd 40 of 46 opponents, and he didn't want to leave his rematch with Ezra Charles up to the judges. Marciano wasted no time this time. Here he has Charles in trouble in the second round. Ezra is up fast, but now Rocky is all over him. Charles can only try to tie him up. The challenger survived until the 8th, but Rocky was relentless. The gutsy veteran Ezra Charles fights his way to his feet, but Rocky Marciano moves in for the kill. No way Charles or anyone else could survive a hammering like that. The challenger is counted out. KO victim number 41 for Rocky Marciano. One tackle made the 1954 Cotton Bowl unforgettable. Dick Magel of Rice was tearing up the Alabama defense. Magel was truly unstoppable. The Tide had Rice pinned down here, but Magel did it again. He's cruising toward another score. Magel's down. What happened? Watch the sideline on the replay. Bama's frustrated fullback Tommy Lewis came off the Bama bench to down Dick Magel. The refs, of course, gave Rice credit for the touchdown. And Magel got still another TD later on. Tommy Lewis must have thought that kind of talent could only be stopped with a little help from the bench. Hall of Fame quarterback Otto Graham led the Browns against the Lions in the 1954 NFL title game. The Lions quarterback Bobby Lane didn't have it, and he gave it to the Browns here. Hard to believe Cleveland was the underdog in this one. Now Graham goes to work. He gets it to Pete Brewster for another touchdown. A future NFL coach, Walt Michaels, steps in front of a Bobby Lane aerial to add to Detroit's misery. Here's Graham again with touchdown pass number 3. Otto could get out of trouble and throw on the move. And he had a flock of great receivers. He sneaks in here for his 3rd rushing touchdown. 3 on the ground, 3 in the air for Otto in a 56-10 championship win for the Cleveland Browns in 1954. The hottest group of 1954